He was waking up maybe half a dozen times throughout the night to be fed. I thought it was normal. I just thought, oh, he's my baby and he just wants me.
You know, as a new mum, you're so sleep deprived anyway that I'm like, does he have wind or what's going on? I don't know. Do you know what? I'm just going to pick my baby up and snuggle him. And that's how it started. The path of least resistance then led to the path of a lot of resistance.
I felt like I'd failed. I really did, because I didn't have that connection with him. I was absolutely exhausted. I didn't have the emotional capacity to feel all of those bubbly feelings that you're supposed to feel, because all I was doing was spending all my time trying to get him to sleep.
We knew, like, well, okay, this isn't right. But when you're so in it and you're so in the thick of it, you actually don't know how, even if you got help, how you're going to get out of it, because you're so exhausted that you can't even think of implementing anything.
I knew that I was going down into a dark hole. I was spiraling. When I did not enjoy motherhood, every single day my poor partner was like, am I going to come home to them both in tears? Is it going to be a good day? And majority of the time he came home to me in tears because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
I knew we weren't in a good routine. I knew things weren't going well. I was at breaking point. My husband didn't mean this, but he said, you know what to do, babe. And so I was questioning myself day in, day out about everything. I had absolutely no confidence. My baby, you know, I was like, what do I do with my baby? And I just needed help. It was like I needed someone to hold my hand and walk me through it. And so anyway, I did it. I bit the bullet. I signed up for Elaine and it was just brilliant.
I'm completely against the whole control crying and abandonment crying. And what I loved about your program is that you were able to show me how to assist my baby to sleep, reassuring him that mummy and daddy was still there without technically being there, was just something that was a massive light bulb moment for me as a parent.
I was always there every step of the way to support her through learning how to sleep. I never felt that Paige was ever, in it alone.
We supported him the whole time. I was there, had my AirPods in. Elaine could hear Lewis explaining the cries.
The crying started, and then knowing what to do, I went in and just sort of let him know I was there, sat next to the cot, and that was really comforting because he settled, he changed straight away, like knowing that someone was in the room with him, and knowing that the biggest thing I think is knowing that I wasn't going to leave him. The tools that we got given, knowing what to listen for, how long the cries would last for, the increments of time that we've, that comes with how it all works, that gave us power to sort of know. Yeah, it was pretty mind-blowing.
It's the reiteration to you as a mum when you have no confidence that you've got this, I'm supporting him through it. He wasn't alone. He had his mummy. His mum was being supported. She was getting the support she needed.
They're moving around, they're working themselves out. You were there supporting the baby and often the mum as well, if need be. For me, I'm sure my energy near him was very different as well, because I just relaxed next to him and had my hand in the cot so he knew I was somewhere nearby. And then he'd work himself up again, but then he'd settle himself again, which I'd never seen before, so I didn't know he was capable of doing it.
The fact that you taught us which cry was something that he actually needed and which cry was something more for attention. So the fact that we could read his cries, that was also invaluable.
Seeing that other babies do it as well. It's not just your baby that does that screaming. It's not just your baby that won't settle. And seeing also sort of the stage of crying that a baby gets to, screaming stage. And like you've said, if they do get to that stage, you do pick them up if they get so distraught. And he didn't get to that stage, and I think it's because I was in there with him. Felt very empowered and he was a different little boy as well. Like the next day, you could tell he was different in the morning. He was well rested, and we felt really proud of ourselves that we'd actually stuck it out, and and it worked.
What I did actually love about your consultation is once Huxley was settled and he was in bed, which you did in record time, I loved that you spoke to us about what was going on in his body so that we could understand thoroughly our baby and why he was the way that he was. What we learned from you is how to implement a proper, practical sleep and play and feed routine. Again, even as a childcare worker, I didn't know any of that. So the fact that you were able to help us out with the knowledge, empower us with the knowledge as to why you were doing what you were doing, that's a priceless thing to know as a parent.
By the third night, Lewis was sleeping through. I had this little baby that was waking every hour, and bang, incredible.
The first night that we implemented your techniques, and she only woke up once at 1 a.m. from 6 p.m. till 7 o'clock, I think, the next morning she slept, and I just couldn't believe it. Just from small changes that it made such a massive difference, and I got my life back, and my partner got his life back. And
sleep is the best thing that you could ever have.
He's done. This has never happened before.
Billy is so much more content and happy now. When I put her to bed, she has this beautiful little smile on her face, and she goes down like a treat. Her behaviour now is calm and settled, and it's like she's like, thank you, Mummy, for working me out. This is all I wanted.
Knowledge is power, and I did not know the components that you need for a happy baby. I didn't know as a first-time mum, and nobody teaches you that. We saw massive changes. I mean, from 4 months old, she was sitting unassisted. We were starting to move across the ground. Like, there was just so many milestones that we were reaching even early, just because she was getting that quality sleep now. Every single area, we saw a massive improvement.
Daytime sleep's improved, and he was eating better, and all those things that I guess when you're so tired, like even as an adult, when you're so tired, often everything else just sort of falls to the waistline.
It's funny, just making small changes to the routine made such a massive difference to not only Paige's happiness, but my happiness and my partner's happiness, and even my mum, because she saw how much we were struggling. So it made a complete difference to the whole family.
If you think that your baby's routine or sleep routine or lack thereof is disrupting your life, and it is impacting your life in a negative way, and you are feeling anxious, upset, angry, tired, any of those emotions, this is something that you should do for the benefit and for the health of your family.
To mums out there, our motherly guilt, it doesn't matter what phase of motherhood we are in, we're always going to have motherly guilt. And we, I think, have to recognise within ourselves that it is okay to get help, even though we think we should know it all, but we don't.
Your whole job is to teach your children their whole lives and nurture them, and so why not with sleep as well?
So as soon as the mum gets that confidence and knows, I can do this, my baby is doing well, then everyone is doing well.
Within the blink of an eye, I had my confidence back, and I can then reflect on what can I do as a mum to support my little boys through their next little phases.
You can be the mother you want to be, you can be happy, you can be the partner you want to be, you can have that family dynamic you want by just asking for the help.